On this edition of Straight Talk, we'll be looking at the current happenings. All right, so our role is as media managers is to let you know whatever is happening in our landscape. Today we're doing a review of political developments in Cross River State and the position of Cross River State at the scheme of things, and of course within the state, who talks Cross River, who is speaking on behalf of Cross River State, who is gatekeeping on behalf of Cross River State, and of course, are we getting what we deserve, being the only APC state in South-South Nigeria? Or how can we better position Cross River State for us to get what we deserve as a state? My name is Akpala, and I have here with me Dr. McFarland Eja. Dr. McFarland is a public affairs analyst. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you, Beatrice. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
You're looking beautiful.
Thank you, Doctor. All right, so also I have here with me Honorable Castro Adoga Ezama, who is a political analyst. You're welcome to the program.
It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, so you know what we do? We try to keep you abreast with happenings, like I've said already. Today we'll be looking at something very, very interesting. Talking about the injustice that Cross River State has been experiencing at the national level. That's why I want to hear their opinion on this issue. You know, we have our own Senator Asuka Ekwekwemi Jr., who actually sponsored the South-South Development Bill that gave birth to the South-South Development Commission. And today, fast forward to May 2025, we have Anna Akua Ibom heading the process and all of that. And people say he ought to be a Cross Riverian and all of that. Let's talk about Cross River State. Are we experiencing injustice? Is what is happening in Abuja, is it something against the, per se, an injustice against Cross River, people are perceiving it, or is it about the highest bidder? Is it about proper lobbying, or is it that Cross Riverians do not have people to lobby effectively on behalf of Cross River State? All right, so let me start with Dr. McFarland. Dr. McFarland, let's look at, I want to get your thoughts on the emergence of a very vibrant, delectable, beautiful young lady as the pioneer managing director of South-South Development Commission. Well, we saw that, I don't know how to classify that, but I think having that young lady become a managing director controlling 6 states in Nigeria, for me as a woman, I'm very proud. What is your thoughts on that appointment?
Well, if we want to look at it with regards to positioning of women, it's okay. We are all happy that appointments have been made and women are being brought into the fore in the scheme of things. But I hope that she leaves a positive trail. We can remember her as a daughter. We can remember her as the Minister for Finance, Okonji Iweala. We can remember her as Okwesili Ngozi. These are women who have been able to leave, positive blueprints there. So it's one thing to have an appointment. Another thing is to ensure that you live up to the bidding of the appointment. Okay. And now the other thing where part of it we're looking at is Cross River State. You started by making the analysis that Cross River State is the only APC state in the South-South. That's true. And so we expected that also, since it has to do with South-South, being politically seen as the closest party to the ruling party, we expect that the juicy part of the cake, we should ordinarily have it. And so the juicy part of the South-South Development Commission is having the chairman and the managing director. And politically, if we look at this, where Cross River State is not placed in any of these two, it leaves a lot of things. We need to ask so many questions. Being an APC state, are we really, like some people will say, are we socketing to the center? Is it a deliberate scheme of trying to skim Cross Riverians out or marginalize us? Politics is a game of interest. That's the truth about it. We also know that Akwa Ibom, where this lady comes from, is a PDP state. But the same Akwa Ibom has a Senate president. And people who are there are supposed to begin to play politics the way it is. So are we benefiting? If we are benefiting, is the benefit commensurate to what we are putting in politically? These are questions that we need to ask. We can't continue to look as if we are always picking the crumbs from the table.
All right.
We need to begin to look at these narratives where we weigh them all through and put them together. There are 2 big commissions in the South-South. The South-South Development Commission. The NDDC, Niger Delta Development Commission, even though that has 3 other states out of the South-South geopolitical region. In these big entities, where are we as Cross Riverians? Are we just filling the space? Are we just becoming numbers? We should grow bigger than that, given that the ruling party has his head in Cross River State.
All right, so let me get your thoughts, Honorable Castro. Why is Cross River State playing the second fiddle? What is wrong with us?
Well, thank you. Well, I want to begin by thanking you, Beatrice, for advocating for Cross River State using your platform. This is about my 4th time appearing on your program, and you have been very passionate about Cross River State. Same with me. I'm a Cross Riverian first, and I'm very passionate about our state. And I'm not happy with the scheme of things. The way Cross River State is always kept behind when decisions are taken. And unfortunately, again, for us, we are always reactive. And I want a situation where we can be proactive in all that we do. We cannot just wait. These things are not served. These are things you scheme for and get them. It is sad that yesterday they announced the names for the South-South Development Commission, and the MD positions to CEO and that of the chairman eluded Cross River State. That's not a good one. And like I keep saying, it looks like Mr. President has allowed certain persons to take charge of the entire South-South region, namely the Senate President, Senator Gosul Oborakpabio, and the FCT Minister. There is a in fact, there's even a rumor, these are things I am thinking as a person, that the former Governor Ibori is also in that mix of people who are calling the shots in the South-South. And then you're keeping Cross River State behind.
And then the leader of APC in the South is out.
I stand here to say that it's high time we stop this. The governor of Cross River State has been on that sensitive errand to always go and ensure that APC is delivered in other states. He went to Edo and he led, and he delivered. We have APC in Edo. He was not a typical selfish politician, would have ensured that he does things to ensure that Edo does not win. So Cross River will remain the only South-South state. But he was there. He gave out his heart, worked hard, led that delegation, and then we got Edo. He's been there in other states where APC won election. So they should look at our governor. Yes, he's simple, he's humble. Let the governor also be in that mix of that table when they take decisions. It's a slap on our governor. It's a slap on Cross River State that they will fix the South-South Development Commission. No sensitive position.
Given to Cross River State. All right, so Dr. McFarland, I want us to look at, carry out an in-depth analysis. Let's look at beyond the superficial. What is going on right now in Cross River State? Could it be a conspiracy? Is there any presidential cabal anywhere ensuring that Cross River State is always lacking behind? Or could this be a coincidence? Or could it be a function of the fact that our own people are not able to lobby effectively? What do you think is the crux of the matter right now?
No, I think it's not a coincidence. See, we have people within the political system who need to understand what politics is. Let me take you back to when we had the Wires being the Senate President. We are talking about lobbying, we are talking about fronts. We had the Abuja front, we had the Lagos front at that point, and they were speaking Cross River. Now, I don't know at this point if we even have an Abuja front. The front that you have there, you have a governor, regardless of the political party. When it comes to interest, we expect that the 3 senators we have and all the members of the House of Representatives, they should be able to put a front. Now, our old elder statesmen and politicians should be able to put a front and say, we galvanize the interests of Cross River. It's a big shame that we are not getting involved in the scheme of things when people like Senator Victor Ndamada, who was a national, he occupied a national position.
Senate leader.
A Senate leader. In that place, you must have left some, positive footprints that you can harvest and take on. So if we are not able to pull this together, then it means that our political trajectory at the national, we are not able to put pathways, build bridges where we will be working on. In politics, you don't burn the bridges. Now, the governor has come in as a governor. He's a governor of the state. But we need all the support. The governor can be in Abuja every time because we have people who are in Abuja. What are the Abuja people doing and how they are connecting back with the system? So there's a gap here. And I think until we start fighting like a team, working like a team, it doesn't help. Right now, I perceive, I stand to be corrected, we seem to be fighting in silos. And so when you have crabs in a basket, and you can go to one market from here and come back, they are not coming out because as you're climbing out, another crab is pulling. So it appears the pulling down syndrome in Cross River State is beginning to come back. I'm afraid. I hope what Ayandele described Cross River in 1970 is not coming to play.
Yeah.
an atomistic society
that is perpetually at war with itself. Yeah.
So we need to sit back, and those who are there, remember that you're holding position in trust. Coming back to the South-South Development Commission, the senator who brought that motion, the bill, and he saw the light of the day, is Senator Supo Ekwenyo.
Yes.
And after putting that, I expect that.
So why was he not able to influence?
So these are all the things I'm looking at. You don't just bring a bill and you keep it and it enters there, because in terms of your democratic dividends that we look at you as a legislature, is this kind of thing.
Okay, fine. I want to also know the difference between knowing people in power and having them able to value your opinion to be able to do something productive for you. Now, before you comment on it, I want to give an illustration. Leave the two APC senators from Cross River State. We have the narrative that they say Senator Jerry Beagom is doing well. Why has he not been able to facilitate a federal appointment for his loyalists? I would have been very proud to hear that, okay, maybe the APC senators couldn't do it, the governor couldn't do it, but at least Jerry Beagom was able to facilitate this federal appointment for his loyalists. Let us applaud for him.
Simple.
But there is nothing like that.
Now, let me show
so what
you.
is the influence of the National Assembly members?
Let me show you simple. That's what I'm saying, that if you check in Nigeria, our politicians, a lot of them are yet to understand that there's a difference between party politics when you're campaigning for elections, and after elections is governance. So after election, we have them as senators, regardless of the political parties they come from. If Jaribe is pushing something as a senator, first from the Northern Senatorial District in Cross River, we expect that if he has to benefit Cross River, the other two senators, they give their support. If Asuku Ekwenyo from the South is pushing as a Southern senator, we expect them to push support. But they have not grown beyond party politics. They still play party politics.
So why is why is it that synergy is not there?
But I think there's a high level of political immaturity amongst them.
All right, so let me come to you. Hello, Castro, you know, I know how very passionate you feel about these issues and all of that. I couldn't sleep yesterday. I was like, I'm happy for Usoro Akpabio, right? She's a lady, and women should support women and all of that. But the fact that we couldn't secure the position of chairmanship of the commission, we couldn't even get the managing director, and then we were now reduced to a rep member and of course director of finance. My question now is this: at what point are we going to come up with a coordinated front? Is it not enough injustice for us to say, okay, enough is enough, we are coming together? When are Cross Riverians going to be motivated enough to take action?
Yes, I think I offer myself to lead the movement to Abuja. There's need for the ordinary man to go to Abuja. And let me plead with our big men out there. We have human resources. Our challenge is how to galvanize and harness the human resources that we have. The man who wrote the bill establishing EFCC is alive and is doing well. Our very own, our illustrious son, Kanu Agabi, SAN, is there. Joagi, SAN, is there. Lots of these people, I can say it clear, that even the wells we talk about, Joagi can be very instrumental to helping us get even more wells in Cross River State. He's been there, he knows every of these things. Now, we need to move. And I call on ordinary Cross Riverians. We must not depend on the big men alone. Big doors hang on little hinges. We are ordinary people that work in an extraordinary way to ensure that Cross River State is heard. We can't just sit down. We have to make these agitations positively to the right people and get these things done. Like I said earlier, I am pained that once again we've been cheated. Now we can use this to negotiate and telling Mr. President and reminding him that we still have a junior minister. That we reject, that's not acceptable to Cross River State.
Yes.
We still have a junior minister. The president should give us
a substantive
minister.
Yeah.
He should give us that right, because Bet I Do was, I think her slogan was for the region. So we beg, let's use the opportunity to beg Mr. President that he should replace, we should have a minister from Cross River State again that will be a Class A minister in quote. That's important. Again, let me also use the opportunity to speak to the national chairman of the APC. We are yet to have a member from Cross Riverian in the ESCO at the National Executive Council. That has to be replaced. These are positions that we need. Let me also use the opportunity to call on the special advisor to the governor on the Liaison Abuja. He or she needs to wake up. We cannot continue like this. Whoever is holding an appointment or has a responsibility, we all need to wake up.
Okay, I'm going to stick to you now. We are looking at putting together a coordinated front. Is that supposed to be the responsibility of the governor? Because you mentioned Senator Kanu Agabi. There's Senator Victor Domegba, who was former Senate leader. With all of those connections, top-notch connections and all of that, and they happen to live in Abuja. Why are they not playing their politics on behalf of Cross River? What's going on?
Sincerity of purpose. If they want to preach Cross River and keep individual interests aside, they can come together. While they do their own, the ordinary Cross Riverian should also do his own.
All right.
We can also galvanize and move while they do theirs. And again, I beg once again, our leaders, the big men, it's time to wake up. This is about our state. Yes, God has blessed them. They won't see suffer until whenever God calls them. But they have children yet unborn that are coming. What would they come and enjoy from this state of ours? Yes, we once had people that were appointed during President Buhari's tenure. Yeah, we had a harvest of appointment from Cross River State. One of the challenges we had then was that these people never came together to sit down and see how they would coordinate themselves with the beautiful appointments that we all had. We had people who were fighting themselves. Once again, I want to beg us, this is not time to fight ourselves. Whether you are in PDP, you are in APC, or whatever party, the party right now in focus is Party Cross River State. We just need to come together and take off these wounds. So once again, like I said, it's time for every Cross Riverian to wake up. We need to support the governor. We just need to wake up and support him. He's always there. It looks like he's fighting all of these battles alone. We need to join him and get these things done. Mr. President will not remember everything. All these things will not be brought to his remembrance. We need to beckon on him, knock at his door to say that, oh, you have one sensitive state, Cross River State, that has to be carried along. Now that we lost juicy position, in quote, in the South-South Development Commission, one of the things that will heal our wounds is Mr. President to send a nominee to the National Assembly to be appointed a minister, a senior minister, so
That's
to speak.
process of beginning to heal.
To heal the wound.
Because the wound is enormous.
So
This is what we're asking for. We're not asking
okay,
for
so let's play the devil's advocate.
Yes.
If we do not move swiftly, if we do not interface with the national enough, what could be the worst case scenario?
Now, before I talk of the worst case scenario, power never concedes anything. You must go out for it.
Okay.
And fight for it constructively. Now we have leaders. We have elder statesmen who are supposed to lead the path. And if they are not leading the path, it's not because they don't know that they have to lead the path.
Okay.
It's a clear indication that they do not want to create a critical successor generation. Now let me say this in pidgin. Papa will get picking when no one making picking better pass and now which.
Is it witch or wizard?
All of them, whether or winches, we all together. Now we need to have a situation. If you do a retrospective analysis, we have governors who are alive from this state. We have politicians who are the national who have been there, who are respected. And we expect that the goodwill that they have, we should ride on it. So while we are waking them up to come up now, I'm not indicting them, but I'm telling them that they are sleeping. Wake up from their slumber before we begin to indict. All of us right now, we form a critical successor generation right now as we are discussing. Nothing stops us from taking the bull by the horn and start the process. Because the worst case scenario you're saying is that if we do not take the bull by the horn and become Ziba, that will mention us to the king, we will perpetually remain in Lodiba. Remember the story of Mephibosheth? He was crippled and was in Lodiba. Nobody spoke for him, but because there was a Ziba in the palace, when the king said, is there anybody alive in the family of Saul that I may do him good for Jonathan's sake? It was Ziba who now said, behold, my lord, there remaineth one. His name is Mephibosheth, but he's crippled. He said, go and bring him. And from the day they went and brought him, his narrative changed. So for Cross River State, we are now being confined to Lodiba, where we are, political Lodiba. Nobody is remembering us. We need to take the bull by the horn. If our elders are not ready to do it, let's begin to do it. Maybe as we wake up and take the bull by the horn, they will decide to join us. And if they join us, fantastic, because we still need their guidance and direction.
Okay, so looking at the political interplay that is going on right now, can we correctly say that there is a cabal fighting Cross River? And then, of course, let's look at the issue of Senate President. Have we offended him in any way?
I don't want to think
is the Senate President fighting Cross River State frontally? Or what's going on?
I don't want to think that anybody is fighting Cross River. Senator Akpabio is from Akpabio, but he's more Cross River as he's from Akwa Ibom.
In what way?
Now, he schooled here in Cross River State, in University of Calabar. Akwa Ibom is a baby that came out from Cross River. Politics is about interest and lobbying. We do not have a front that is lobbying. We do not. People who are there in Abuja are comfortable to sleep in their hotels, sleep in their house, wake up and begin to move around. If you're staying around somebody who is influential and you're honest to him, he respects you and values you, and you're not able to present your matter up, you have a problem. So you're not talking about yourself, you're not talking about your community, you're talking about yourself. People there should stop talking about self-interest. Remember the community, you will come back. And in politics, it's about having votes. Now, elections are finished. When you come back, what are we talking about? So forget the political party you are, whichever party that you are in, you do it. Let me remind you something. The Ikokus, Grace Ikoku and Alvan Ikoku, both of them came from the same parent. And in politics, they belong to the same different political parties. They campaign, and when they finish, they come back and eat from the same plate. It's there on record. And I'm not saying it because it's something that is historic. Their senior brother, late Dr. Ezong Ekoma, is from my place. And these are things on record. So we expect that in politics, let us only differ when it comes to name of political party. But in terms of interest, the pot is Cross River. And so those in Abuja need to wake up. Nobody is fighting us. We are the ones fighting ourselves. Until we understand that whichever senatorial district you come from, whichever party you come from, like my brother Castro has said, the party is party Cross River.
Okay.
And we need to look at it. What you're bringing, is it coming to Cross River? How is it going to benefit us? Do you need our support? We all galvanize and go into it. When you come from that direction, it becomes okay. Now, the Senate President is not a PDP person. He's an APC person. He will begin to look at it, cross-party political activity, when you find members from the PDP joining their APC people coming to say, we want to lobby for this for our state. That's how politics is played. If
you're just joining us, this is Straight Talk. We are looking at what's going on in Nigeria, of course, the Cross River State experience, as well as regard the politics of Cross River and Nigeria in general. But then remember, Takola, I've had the pleasure of interacting and interfacing with Dr. McFarland Eja and Honorable Castro Ezama. And on this program, we x-ray everything, dissect all issues, all topical issues happening in our landscape. Today, we'll be looking at the South-South Development Commission, of course, the appointment that has just been made by President Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu, who appointed a few people to take charge of the South-South Development Commission, and the perception of people in Cross River State who think that Cross River State didn't get what they deserve, and other issues playing out moving into 2027. Where is Cross River State, and what are we doing effectively to ensure that we get the right things and, of course, get what we deserve eventually? My name, remember, it is Akpala, and I still have there with me Dr. McFarland and Honorable Castro Ezama. Then I want to come to you, Honorable Castro. We played a victim card. Like Dr. McFarland said, that politics is about lobbying. And what we haven't gotten is just that we've not been able to lobby vigorously or aggressively to get it. So we can't even pinpoint anyone to say we are blaming this person, we are blaming that person. I know the governor is doing his bit. Why do we have these critical people not doing anything to help? Why are we rather sitting down and play the victim card? What can we do differently, in your own opinion?
Well, let me say that by taking a roll call. Right Honorable Lego Idagbo is a personal friend to the Chief of Staff, to Mr. President, Femi Gbajabiamila. Senator Jarigbe Agom Jarigbe. Yes, he's a senator representing Cross River North. He's also a friend, a close ally to the Chief of Staff, to Mr. President. Honorable Claudius Obun is a boy and younger friend to Chief BC Akonde. Or is also a friend to Mr. President. Ntufam Hila Etta, who was the former vice chairman of South
APC,
is a close ally to the presidency. Senator Victor Ndomegba is a friend to all of them, every one of them, the people in power. Senator Kanu Agabi is loved and cherished by the people in power. I can go on and on and on and on.
So what then is the issue?
We have Senator John Owaneno, who is a minister. He's been there with them too. All that is required as we speak is for everybody to come together.
In the south here, we have a Super Ekpenyong.
Then Super Ekpenyong is a close, he can enter the private room of the Senate President any day,
so
any
what
time.
is our problem? What's the issue?
The problem now is for us to eschew hatred one for another and embrace genuine love for our state. That's all that we need.
And have a common goal.
And have a common goal. His Excellency the Governor, like I keep saying, cannot do everything by himself. In fact, if everybody stands up to work, our governor will not need to go to Abuja.
So are you not telling me that these people are deliberately doing nothing?
No, they may not be deliberately doing nothing, but they need to keep their personal differences aside. It is possible that some of them think that the scheme of things currently in the state are not being, maybe, I'm just speculating, maybe they are not being carried along. They should keep the hearts and come together. That is the only way we can get these things achieved. If they want to grandstand, I can tell you for free that we will keep suffering the way we are going. Whether we like it or yes, so much is not given to our state. After giving so much to the party, we are going into elections. This is time for negotiations. We've seen Akwa Ibom State. We've seen a governor who is a PDP governor, who has gone with his predecessor, with the Senate President, to meet with Mr. President. And they submitted their rights agenda to Mr. President.
Yeah.
And these things are beginning to trickle out. In the last Federal Executive Council, we saw some roads that were given approval therefrom. We saw a road from Akwa Ibom State, nothing from Cross River State. That's another part of the hot.
I'm sorry that you're talking about road here. It reminds me of the sorry state that the Akampa Biase axis of the Calabar Ogoja road is. Once you come, you spend it's a hair.
That's exactly where I was driving to. Again, I thank Mr. President that recently told the Works Minister they came to do groundbreaking for the coastal road. Can we not hold from there and have our traditional institutions with all of these politicians I have highlighted, with youth and women group, go to thank Mr. President first for the little he has done and begin to ask questions? Like we said in this your program, now that we are realizing it, we will not wait for more to come before we wake up. I call on us, whether you are a water leaf seller, whether you are selling noodles, we will all rise now and see how we can project our state.
So who is going to spearhead these movements?
I have volunteered to spearhead.
I am I'm putting myself on the stage. Let me tell you, if you want change.
So who is going to say enough is enough?
We are saying enough is enough right now.
Okay.
Let me tell you.
So are you telling me that you had the maybe the technical know-how to bring all of this critical information together?
Sure.
It's something we have done severally. We've done severally. It's not impossible. When you are a leader and you are not accessible to the people you represent, then you're not a leader. So the issues is that we are putting it right as it is, even though they're operating in different areas. Territorial protection. We need to break these territories together and understand that the only territory we have is Cross River State.
Okay, Dr. Mafala, I'm coming to you now. Honorable Castro said Senator Asoko Ekpenyong Jr. is close to the Senate President to an extent where he can even access his personal bedroom and all of that. Now, with all of this injustice playing out, why do we have our leaders at the National Assembly being so quiet? Why are they looking the other way? What, in your opinion, how do you classify this sort of narrative?
I just think that, number one, I've told you that the quick and first interpretation is that the interest of cross surveillance is not in their heart. You don't.
So you got to represent the people and their interests is not in your heart.
Where are they living?
So what is in their heart now?
So but it is by actions that I'm saying this. If their interest is in their heart, we should expect that if there's first seeming, I'm using the word seeming, if there's first seeming injustice and you've missed it, you're able to come back and say, we lost this opportunity. We need to re-strategize for another. Now, Castro has just said, okay, ministers will soon come up. It is not out of place for us to say, Mr. President, we have lost so much. Please, as they are considering, in fact, what we are asking, there's nothing wrong with Cross River having 2 full ministers. There's nothing as a way to compensate for it. But the people at Abuja still do not understand the reason why they need to come together and play politics as a team. Everybody is doing territorial protection. And when you begin to do territorial protection, you're balkanizing the state further. When you do that, you'll be achieving little incremental things in your place that do not tie together.
Okay.
We're talking about the development agenda for Cross River State. There's a strategic plan which the governor is driving. I do expect that all the National Assembly members should sit back and have a clear picture of understanding that strategic plan of Cross River. They do not. It's a plan that the Cross River State governor is driving, but all of them are instrumental into it. So, for instance, if there's health sector and they've said we need to have all these primary healthcare facilities and that, and you are a person representing us at the National Assembly, and you can drag in a federal medical facility to come in, you will drag it and look at it how it fulfills the agenda, the gap that the governor is trying to fulfill. At that point, you have helped the governor in that area. You're talking about dragging industries. What is the governor's blueprint when it has to do with industry?
Yeah.
Because that blueprint is speaking to advancing cross variants and moving us to the next agenda.
Okay.
We are talking about the Akwa Ibom, the Arise agenda which they have presented.
Sure.
It is not an isolated plan. It has come in from a strategic plan. We have a 25 to 30 year strategic plan in Cross River. So which one of it are we taking to become our annual operational plan that the politicians will key into? Everybody needs to key into it regardless of political party.
Okay.
Don't come in the big mistakes we keep making. And I want to say very clear. Do not assess any any legislature based on number of solar lights they have put. Don't assess them based on the number of billboards they have put. They are not executive. The duties to put these infrastructures are executive. We judge them by the legislative bills they have made and how they push it to translate into physical things. That's what we should use to judge them.
All right, so let's briefly comment on the political strength of the governor. His political strength and influence so far. I know that it's single-handedly, literally fighting night and day to ensure that Cross River State gets the dividend of democracy they deserve. What are your thoughts regarding Governor Bassey Tutu's strength and influence at the national?
It's strategic. It's just that it's not one that is taken to noise in quote. He's one that, like you said, is strategic. He is not one that brings media to the fore when he's making some sensitive visits. And you will not see him putting it on his social media handles. But I can tell that he is bulldozing his way in. All that the governor needs now is to see those around him need to follow him, they need to be trusted and need to push this project Cross River State into it. The governor has been privileged. He's served in the House of Reps. He's been a senator and served in sensitive committees at the Senate level. So he knows the workings of the National Assembly. And today he's privileged to be governor of Cross River State. So I know he's doing well. He's doing well. He needs the support of all of these persons. The governor of Akwa Ibom State is hugely supported, irrespective of party line.
Of course.
By the who is who in Akwa Ibom. They are all running around with him. And I love that. I like bringing that scenario. And I want to see that happening in Cross River State.
All right.
Let's keep the interest of 2031 is far, quite far, of who wants to be governor. The interest of 2027, from the look of things, from what we said recently in your program, is looking clear that in the APC, the governor might just be having it, smoothly in the APC, unopposed there, to be the party flag bearer. Now, the challenge undertone is who goes to the National Assembly. Again, I call on them. Our senators and House of Reps member, they need to be up and doing. President Tinubu has given them the enabling environment.
Okay.
Cash is flowing. There hasn't been a time where National Assembly members got access to budget and all of that like now. So they need to complement the role of the governor in doing all of these things.
All right, that's interesting. If you're just joining us, this is Straight Talk. This program is powered by Cross River Broadcasting Corporation. Please follow us on our social media handles on CRBC Online. All right, so all our online platforms are very active. Type on your search engine CRBC, follow us. This program is going to be distributed across all our social media platforms and of course on our station, Cross River Broadcasting Corporation. We are here as media managers, and our role is to let you know everything happening and to give the people the opportunity to ventilate, to lend their voice to the governance process of Cross River State, and that's what we are doing. We started the process by talking about the appointments made by the President of Nigeria, Asiwaju Tinubu Ahmed, who appointed the managing director of the South-South Development Commission, and then of course the chairman, a few other appointments recently, and the Cross Riverians, the whole of Cross River State has been agog, and the worrying thing is the fact that we are always playing the defensive and we are always playing the victim card, crying when the milk has been spilled already. So our level of preparedness going forward, that's what we are here talking about. But before we go, I know we have to come back to dissect different topical issues, but before we wrap up today, what would be your personal message to the people of Cross River who are watching us and the people of Nigeria in general?
We've lost enough. We've been injured deeply. Wounds can only heal when people recognize that there's a healing process. So everybody who has found himself or herself in leadership position should understand, one, you're holding the position in trust for people. Two, party politics has finished. We're talking about governance. We need to come back. And three, the governor has offered himself as the head of the arrow. An arrow is made up of the head, the shaft, and the tail. All three must move together for the target to be hit. So we need everybody to support the governor. And we're saying, Your Excellency Senator Prince Bassio, too, from the points of the citizen, we are strongly behind you and will continue to push your agenda forward. All
right, your last message to the people of Cross River and Nigeria in general.
A one-time American president, I think Thomas Jefferson, once stated that to some generation much is given, to another generation much is expected. But to the generation of the Americas, they have a rendezvous with destiny. To the generation of Cross River State who are privileged to be alive today, we have a rendezvous with destiny. It's time to wake up to support our very governor. At the end of the day, there's no project that will be completed in Cross River State that will be emboldened, scripted in the governor's name. It will be ours. So let's keep our personal differences aside. Let's keep away the witchcraft aside if there is any, and let's join hands together and move Cross River State to where it belongs. Let's take Cross River State out of obscurity and darkness into a marvelous light.
That's interesting. You know, I've always said that building Cross River requires a collective effort. Cross Riverians will have to come together to build Cross River State. Let us not allow the Professor Emmanuel Ayandele's narrative to play out. He said Cross River State is an atomistic society and is perpetually at war with itself. Is there any Cold War going on somewhere? Is there any dynamics that seems to look as if people want Cross River to fail? That would be an error. That would be detrimental to every single one of us. Let us rise up to defend Cross River. It is the only state we have, and the least we can do is to put our best foot forward everywhere we find ourselves to represent Cross River State effectively. My name is Zakwala. The program is Straight Talk. We bring you another thought-provoking edition next week where we talk about other topical issues that affect our landscape and Nigeria as a whole. Bye-bye.